Appamada's programs and facilities are supported through your generosity. Thank you for your support. There is a Donna box for contributions in the kitchen and also a link for contributions on the website.
Okay, so I want to thank Jessica for being today's Doshi, uh, Lori for being today's monitor, Marla for being the online monitor and helping me connect today, and Jess for being the timekeeper for today. Each of these folks in their own way, by showing up with these offerings, are creating a future for Appamada. I also want to thank our teachers, Peg and Flint, and offer thanks to their teachers, uh, our Zen grandparents, as it were, and all the ancestors who shared the Dharma and kept it alive for more than 2,500 years, changing every time it's expressed, but yet continuing the thread that has begun from the beginning. I am looking forward to the intensive that Peg and Nate will be offering in less than a month, and then to the steps that will follow, leading to Nate's Dharma transmission later this year. Today, I want to share some readings from Dogen, or more properly from Shohaku Okumura's reflections on what Dogen has to say about the Heart Sutra in part of his book, Realizing Genjo Koan. Then I want to read from a Reddit post by a contemporary Zen teacher who's named Jundo Kohen, pardon me. He's a transmitted Dharma heir of Gudo Wafu Nishijima, in an offshoot of the same lineage that our Sangha member Nelly Myoju is ordained in. Jundo Kohen founded and leads what's called Tree Leaf Zendo, a worldwide online Sangha. He's controversial these days because he is going to offer priest ordination to an AI, which he created, and which he has named Emi Jido. You can see Emi Jido answering questions on YouTube, and if if your reaction is the same as mine, seeing Emi Jido lifelessly answering questions in a horrible AI background will really make you wonder, ask questions about Jundo Kohen. But being as it is, I'm still going to offer this thing, which I think is a brilliant reflection that he has to share about what is important in Zazen and how it connects with what Dogen teaches. And I want to see if I can, before that, do one other thing, which is to share my screen again and share an image. This is for, if everyone can see that, I hope. This is a birthday card I got last month. I had a birthday, and congratulations on your upcoming birthday, Jess. You'll see that it's hand painted. It has motifs from Anasazi drawings that are found throughout the Southwest on rock faces and so on. And that there's a valley, a deep U-shaped valley. And this connects with what I want to talk about today. A long time ago, Peg and Flint offered an intensive about a book called Theory U, the letter U. And the whole point of the book was, in spiritual practice, you come in with a problem or a series of problems or a situation that you want to change. And you think you may be able to go from, say, the left side of that drawing straight over to the right side of the drawing. And you take care of all your problems, and then you're enlightened, when you get to the other side. The whole point of Theory U has to do with integrating all of our lives together, all of the aspects of our life, and the necessity of doing the work of that integration before we have to go down in order to travel up. We have to integrate in order to be able to deal with those aspects of our lives that we hope to bypass but we can't bypass. So that's what I will now switch to other part of my talk. And I'm going to start with this saying in Soto Zen, don't try harder, try softer. In the readings I'm going to share, I think the readings do something remarkable. They reclaim the radical humanism at the heart of Dogen's teachings, along with the radical freedom within each of us at each moment. That idea of freedom can be a bit scary. And so I want to start with a way to try softer that I learned from Peg or in one of my first practice sessions with her, and then later from Krzysztof Piaskarski. So I invite you to close your eyes for just a minute and maybe 2 minutes, and think of someone who has cared for you and reached out to help you when you needed it. And the presence of that person in your life. Focus not so much on the story of what happened and more on the feeling of being met and held in loving kindness. Next, think of a time, if you can, when you felt loving kindness and you brought it into action that you took in your own life in the same way that you reached out to someone who needed your help or just wanted to connect with you. And you reached out to those person in loving kindness, and that you have that capacity within you all the time. Again, it's not so much the story as the feeling, inhabiting what is already within you. So I'm going to talk now. You can please open your eyes. I'm going to talk now about what Dogen says about the Heart Sutra. And in order for that to make any sense, I have to talk about what the Heart Sutra says. And before that, we have to talk some about what the Heart Sutra is talking about. Shohaku Okamura, in his book, Realizing Genja Koan, has a wonderful description of what the Heart Sutra is talking about. And that is the Buddha's teachings on our human predicament. He writes, early Buddhism shed light upon the reality of our lives with teachings such as the Four Noble Truths. As an aside, I will say that is suffering, the causes of suffering, the cessation of suffering, and the path to live in helping to cease suffering. And also, picking up again from Okamura, and also the 12 links of causation. According to the primary message of the Buddha's teachings, if we free ourselves of ignorance and ego attachment, we can transform our lives from the suffering of samsara to the cessation of suffering, that is nirvana. Realizing of this transformation occurs through embracing the Noble Eightfold Path and other practices. So what does the Heart Sutra say? According to the Heart Sutra, not only are the naive ways we meet the world lacking in the separate permanent self we ascribe to them and to ourselves, but because, and that is because everything is impermanent and based on causes and conditions. According to the Heart Sutra, all the elements of the Buddha's teachings also need to be seen through. So if you turn to page 5 in the chant book, you can read something that we read every day, every weekday in the part of our chant sequence, end of sitting, and read down to where it begins, Shariputra, all dharmas are marked by emptiness. They neither arise nor cease, are neither defiled nor pure, neither increase nor decrease. And then it begins on the negation of the Buddha's teachings, which took my breath away the first time I stopped just reading the words and really remembered what they were referring to. Therefore, given emptiness, there is no form, no sensation, no perception, no formation, no consciousness, no eyes, no ears, no nose, no tongue, no body, no mind, no sight, no smell, no taste, no touch, no object of mind, no realm of sight, no realm of mind consciousness. And then there is neither ignorance nor extinction of ignorance. There is neither old age and death nor extinction of old age and death. No suffering, no cause, no cessation, no path, no knowledge, and no attainment. Okamura writes, Mahayana teachings, such as the Heart Sutra, emphasize a different expression of reality from what the Buddha was describing. From the perspective of prajna, that is, wisdom, if we think there are fixed places or conditions called samsara, nirvana, delusion, or enlightenment, our practice becomes merely an attempt to escape from what we think is undesirable. Then Okamura lays out Dogen's teachings. And the first time I read this, it sure made my head spin. Dogen says the five aggregates are form, sensations, perceptions, mental formations, and consciousness. They are the five-fold prajna. The Heart Sutra says these five skandhas, here's a quote from Okamura again. The Heart Sutra says that these five skandhas are empty, but here Dogen is saying that they are the five-fold prajna, that they themselves are prajna paramita, wisdom. Quoting Dogen again, also, there are 18 instances of prajna: eye, ear, nose, tongue, body, mind, sight, sound, smell, taste, touch, object of mind, as well as the consciousness of eye, ear, nose, tongue, body, and mind. There are 12 sense fields that are 12 instances of prajna paramita. Also, there are 4 instances of prajna: suffering, its cause, cessation, and the path to cessation. Also, there are 6 instances of prajna: generosity, pure precepts, calm patience, diligence, quiet meditation, and wisdom. So you will recognize that last sequence of 6 statements as the Brahma Viharas. And there are also, I'm sorry, not the Brahma Viharas, the help. What's the term I'm looking for?
Paramitas.
Paramitas, thank you. Also, there are 3 instances of prajna, Dogen writes: past, present, and future. Also, there are 6 instances of prajna: earth, water, fire, wind, space, and consciousness. Also, 4 instances of prajna are going on daily: walking, standing, sitting, and lying down. Clear seeing itself is prajna. To unfold and manifest this essential truth, the Heart Sutra states that form is emptiness and emptiness is form. Dogen says, form is nothing but form. Emptiness is nothing but emptiness. 100 blades of grass, 10,000 things. Okamura comments, 100 blades of grass and 10,000 things mean everything. In other words, everything is prajna paramita because everything is empty. Prajna is not a personal, individual wisdom we can possess. Rather, each thing is itself reality, and each thing is itself prajna, or wisdom. Again, the Heart Sutra says these things do not exist. This is still Okamura writing. Again, the Heart Sutra says these things do not exist, but Dogen Zenji says these things are in fact prajna exactly because they are empty, because they are impermanent and lack independent existence. Everything is prajna itself. So I don't know if you can try hard to follow that. I have, but it hasn't worked for me very well. So trying softer, I think is what I want to offer next. Again, to me, this is fathomless, unfathomable teaching, but it helps me to meet life in appreciation and gratitude, to at least contemplate them and try and integrate them in my life. Maybe it points to what in the Chan literature is called stepping off the 100-foot pole, letting go of pursuit of anything at all, so that, as Dogen writes, the 10,000 things can realize themselves. It's like a Bach fugue, doubling back on itself and opening at the same time, so that I, even in the troubled aspects of myself that reinforce my self-centeredness, I am not excluded from the unfolding of the 10,000 things. We share the larger container, all of us, with everything. It's the larger container that Joko Beck speaks of so forcefully and so beautifully. Okay, finally, here's a quote from Jundo Cohen that I mentioned earlier, which brings these mind-boggling teachings into the realm of practice. And he's reflecting on how teachers of Zen present how to sit. Says there's a subtle difference in how Zen teachers explain shikantaza, so-called just sitting Zen. After listening to hundreds of talks and reading so many essays, I am left very surprised that one key aspect is not emphasized more. This crucial point often seems to be missing, misunderstood, or understated. In my belief, not placing this one fact front and center or leaving it out altogether robs Zazen of its power, like a fire without fuel, a tiger without claws. What is this missing piece of the puzzle? Shikantaza must be sat for the time it is sat, with the student profoundly trusting deep in her bones that sitting itself is a complete and sacred act, the one and only action that need be done in the whole universe in that instance of sitting. This truth should not be thought about or voiced in so many words, but must be silently and subtly felt deep down. The student must taste vibrantly that the mere act of sitting zazen in that moment is whole and thoroughly complete, the total fruition of life's goals, with nothing lacking and nothing to be added to the bare fact of sitting here and now. There must be a sense that the single performance of crossing the legs or sitting in some other balanced posture is the realization of all that was ever sought, that there is simply no other place to go in the world, nor thing left to do besides sitting in such posture at that time. No matter how busy one's life or how strongly one's heart may tempt one to be elsewhere, for the time of sitting, all other concerns can just be put aside. Zazen is the one task and experience that brings meaning and fruition to that time, with nothing else to do. This fulfillment in just sitting must be felt with a tangible vibrancy and energy, trusting that one is sitting at the very pinnacle of life. To me, that is a nearly perfect example of trying softer, not harder. Just to be in this moment and to really have appreciation for what this moment holds as you are living your life. It is the full expression of what this life is in that moment. Nevertheless, that seems a little left-brained to me. So I want to offer one more poetic expression of it. And that, if you can follow along, if you turn to page 62 in the chant book, it's Peg Syverson's beautiful poem called Inside a Moment. Marla, would you be willing to read the poem?
Yes.
Thank you. Before Marla starts, let me say Chozen, who is mentioned in the second line here, is a teacher at Great Vow Monastery, where Peg trained when she was in monastic training.
Wouldn't it be nice, Chosen said, to step inside a moment? I'm considering that now, how it will be like stepping inside a cathedral, a great space soaring above, and around you filled with light from windows of many colors. And the sounds inside a moment would be rich as a symphony, a heartbeat, traffic, a sigh, a melting sound. The odor of something sacred, human and warm, a lingering aroma of a meal just cooked. Then to the sensations of the skin against the air, against these clothes, a casual itch and a bit of tightness in one shoulder. How full-bodied and wholehearted would we be? And how might we fall down in profound gratitude for the splendor we are witness to? Our yearning, the grain of wood in the floor, the mysterious light of the street lamp, the moon, a passing car's headlights. The gods envy this moment of a human life, torn as it is by suffering, anxiety, impermanence, and yet, inside this moment is timeless and complete. No worry left in it, no other place to be, nothing to do but look and feel and listen as long as we like. Could you ever grow tired of it? Did you forget to notice the dead ant in the corner, the subtle shading of the rice paper in the wooden frames, or the silent figures on the altar, the incantations of great activity, great wisdom, great compassion, right here in this moment? Did you hear that? The refrigerator turned itself off once it was cold enough, and a piece of paper rustled as someone turned a page. If you are longing for life eternal, please simply step inside a moment.
Thank you, Marlo. Thank you for your kind attention. Thank you for sharing this time with me. I'd be delighted to hear any reflections. Yes, Jessica.
A lot is moving for me, and yeah, instead of feeling like I'm drinking from a fire hose, I feel like I'm happily drinking from a waterfall or something right now, from your talk. So beautifully woven. Thank you. My heart is beating kind of fast with the excitement of it. So, it occurred to me that the quote this morning wove beautifully into your talk, and so that we can't plan it this way kind of feeling, the interbeing felt kind of potent, and that I'll just read it for folks who
Please.
aren't. It is because our way of observing things is deeply rooted in our self-centered ideas that we are disappointed when we find everything has only a tentative existence. But when we actually realize this truth, we have no suffering. And it seems to be that that's what Suzuki Roshi was saying almost in response to your talk this morning. I've been holding, this month has a lot of death anniversaries for me, and in addition to my own birthday. And I've been holding a lot of these ideas of birth and of death and of the great matter. And I don't quite know what to say, but what you've unpacked for us today seems to be speaking to that idea of and I said this to Linda, grief is the part of love we don't like. And I feel like that brings it home to this human experience, of suffering, arising, cessation, path, and of the Heart Sutra, of realizing that the wisdom beyond wisdom that's within this moment, is powerful enough to meet that grief. And the zazen that you speak of, that while we're sitting, is the moments that I found that are spacious enough for all of it. So forgive my ramblings, but I just, I was kind of being threaded together in a certain way as you were speaking, and I really wanted to say thank you for that.
Jessica. I want to go back to the theory you and that picture I showed before. If we try and leave our grief out of our sitting, what how are we meeting our life? Grief is such a powerful emotion. I too am have met many death anniversaries in the last many weeks, and thought about each of them, and I actually this came up in Women in Zen yesterday, in reading one of the koans. I have not attended Women in Zen in 10 years, but I did sit in yesterday, and there was a koan of a teacher named Ziyang and a student named Jing Shuang. Ziyang is dying. Jing Shuang is crying, sitting in her attendant there, sitting in the room with her. And Ziyang says something philosophical, I think, to try and help her not grieve so hard. And the koan opens out of just the experience that we share of our connection and how that opens us to the something that joins us together, that makes us all be like Kisha Gotami, who, in the famous story from the Buddha's life, went around at the Buddha's suggestion, went around to try and get a mustard seed from a house where no one had died, where there had been no death. And she doesn't find a mustard seed, but she finds that she shares grief with everyone that she meets. And if you don't meet that at the bottom of the you can't turn the corner. You're gonna, if you don't meet it and embrace it, I think embrace it through recognizing it in others and feeling your connection with others in empathy and loving kindness. You can't be patient with it. You can't be patient enough to have the wisdom to see it as merely part of the whole life of all of us. So thank you for letting me ramble that way, Jessica. Any other thoughts? Bridget?
Well, when I opened the book to 62, and in the past you've referred to this before, but the two words that popped out to me were and how we might fall down in profound gratitude in the splendor we are witness to, and then just the words, our yearning. There is this feeling of our yearning. And I looked over and glanced over and realized that you made reference to this poem back on February 7th of 2021, when you spoke about excerpts of Landscapes of Wonder. So I'm just grateful that you brought me back to this awareness. And then when you were telling us about just sitting, I felt all that sense of everything melting into my chair, my whole being just releasing into what's supporting me here. So thank you.
Thank you, Bridget. Jess, I see you raise your hand.
I'll have to listen to this talk again because I don't think I captured it all. What came up for me is the kind of the vision of this like way-seeking mind when we're starting, and we have this energy to like practice. And I think the energy often, not that I think it's commonly thought of that the energy that where this comes from is from some dissatisfaction. There's some dissatisfaction that we have experienced in life, and we are looking for the way, we're looking for healing, we're looking for enlightenment or some stillness, we're looking for something, we're seeking. And kind of the thought of with Shikantaza that it's all right here. It's just this. This is the most, I forget the wording of it, but it's this is all of it. This is and it's sort of I imagine through practice, it's like you start to realize like all of this impermanence and things that are moving around and the highs and the lows. To me, it's like, oh, it's sort of like a ride that we're on, and the just sitting is being with all of it. Like I think you were saying this term, like meeting it, just meeting it, and this is all of it. There's no. I wish we could excise the bad parts and only have the good parts, and that's what we search for. I think it's like, and that's the kind of the wheel of suffering, is you're just looking for something, and can we sit with this, all of it? So it's, we just had a couple meditation periods, and like I felt, I think in that practice, I felt all of it. I felt like, oh boy, like how much time is left? Like it's often it's quiet here, and then there's moments of like just sitting and noticing, and you're just in it, and then I'm like, okay, well, the fear of well, I hope I don't miss the time here as timekeeper, better keep an eye on that for people. But yeah, I guess it's like the meeting it and sitting with it is it's all just here. It's like that. And how do we go from that striving to just this, just this? And I think with, I don't know, just talking while I process, but I think with the, we use that internal family systems language, it's like there always is a part of us that's seeking, and meeting that maybe. But anyways, yeah, thank you for your talk.
Thank you, Jess. Marla?
The one word in the Genjo Koan that really is sticking with me right now and that made me inhale with a sort of a relief and a feeling of expansion is vibrancy. And
Mm,
then behind you is this beautiful, vibrant flower. And what's coming up for me is just a sense of energy. And um, the word subtle to describe Zazen, I think it was either Dogen or I'm not sure who said that, but vibrancy, it can be subtle, I guess, but it reminds me of the word appamada, energetic care. It's rather than just something passive. Zazen is full of life. And those are just the thoughts that are spilling out of me right now.
mm, thank you. Well, I'm grateful to Jess for bringing up the internal family systems language that we use at Appamada, that gives us a vocabulary for meeting what's going on in our heads, and meeting that process as it unfolds with kindness and welcoming, instead of doing what I tried to do when I first was sitting, which was push it aside, which only made it seem even crazier. and to cascade faster and faster. But by being open to be softer with what's going on in our heads, by being able to say, oh yeah, I have a part that's always going to do that. And I welcome that part. That can be, that is integral to Zazen for me. That is just a way of relaxing into the, it provides a vocabulary and a embodied sense for relaxing into the moment. That it doesn't have to be a struggle. It can be simply a recognition of what is. Thank you. Rosemarie?
Oh, hi, Joel. Thank you so much. I love the reflection on Zazen. I would love to have that.
Yeah.
Yeah, that would be great. And thank you for mentioning the how we address our parts, and something that Josh had spoken about on Tuesday in the inquiry was finding your grandmotherly way of speaking with that part, which is a real struggle, but is so powerful when I can get to that and unblend with the part and really have that grandmotherly persona speak with her and tell her what she sees, and also listen, of course. So thank you for bringing up how we can be with our grief.
Mm.
Thank you.
I want to read the quote from Jindo. Oh, I'm sorry, Jess. Go ahead.
I'll make this, I want to hear what you're gonna say. Um, I just, another thing that came up is like just the shikantaza and the just sitting, and then I just started this book, Radical Acceptance, like accepting everything as it is, and it sounds, doesn't it? It just sounds like that, and our practice, our zazen, and what we're, where we're going, just seems like a really nice pairing there. But anyways, yeah, Joel.
Yeah.
Uh,
Okay, I'm going to share the screen again for just a moment. Here's the quote from Jundo Koan. And I'll just, this second paragraph here, which begins with the blue light highlighted part. I hope folks can be able to see that, at least online. If you're in the Zendo, it must be very small. But I'm just going to read this here. Shikantaza must be sat for the time it is sat, with the student profoundly trusting deep in her bones that sitting itself is a complete and sacred act, the one and only action that need be done in the whole universe in that instant of sitting. This truth should not be thought about or voiced in so many words, but must be silently and subtly felt deep down. The student must taste vibrantly. I want to go back and say I've been listening to a very long, very engaging book called The Master and His Emissary by Ian McGilchrist, which is about left brain and right brain modes of meeting the world. And to what Jundo Koan is expressing here, that this is something that should not be thought about or voiced in so many words, that is, in a left brain sort of a way, but be silently and subtly felt deep down. That is a right brain way of meeting the world, to feel subtly deep down. And we all have that capacity, even though it gets pushed aside by our discursive mind, it's always there. So that's hopeful to me, and it's helpful to me to be reading this McGilchrist book to give more substance to something when I read like that. It's like it must be subtly felt deep down. So yeah, I have that capacity. The student must taste vibrantly that the mere act of sitting zazen in that moment is whole and thoroughly complete, the total fruition of life's goals, with nothing lacking and nothing to be added to the bare fact of sitting here and now. There must be a sense that the single performance of crossing the legs or sitting in some other balanced posture is the realization of all that was ever thought or ever sought, that there is simply no other place to go in the world nor thing left to do besides sitting in such posture. No matter how busy one's life or how strongly one's heart may tempt one to be elsewhere, for the time of sitting, all other concerns are put aside. Zazen is the one task and experience that brings meaning and fruition to that time with nothing else to do. This fulfillment in just sitting must be felt with a tangible vibrancy and energy, trusting that one is sitting at the very pinnacle of life. I hope that's complete. Do I see a hand raised? Lori, hi.
I just wanted to say, I loved your talk, Joel.
Oh,
I haven't listened to a talk in quite some time. So this was absolutely wonderful. Thank you so much. I'm just glad I'm here today to
thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. And thank you for all your wonderful teachings that I've gotten to enjoy. As many of us can attest and feel deep in ourselves, we have gratitude for that. And I have gratitude for the opportunity to be here today. So with that, let's close.